Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, yesterday night was quite eventful to say the least, while actually simultaneously being a little bit uneventful. I'm sure a good chunk of you, if not most of you guys tuned in or were aware of what was going on Tim Pool's podcast, Timcast IRL, in a shocking last-minute surprise scheduling. Tim Pool, in what seemed to be the last second, managed to score Kanye West, Milo Yiannopoulos, and Nick Fuentes on his show. And I think anyone could have predicted what was to come next. And that, of course, is a wild ride, and that's pretty much exactly what we got for maybe 20 minutes or so. And then totally unsurprisingly, Kanye West decided to storm off the set. And so obviously this is what everyone's talking about right now, so I'm just gonna chime in and tell you what I think about the whole ordeal, the dynamic, and everything else. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright friends, so for those of you guys who are unaware, this is essentially how it ended.
Been extremely unfair to you, I think.
Who is they, though? We can't say they is, can we?
Press. I'm not using the. I don't use the word as the way I guess you guys use. I'm talking.
It is
about
them, though, isn't it? I mean, because because when you think about it, consider it. In 2018.
What do you mean it's not?
What do I mean? Like, okay, so how about? Are you leaving?
Are you referring to the press?
He's gone. I'll say it right now. You guys want to bring that stuff up? And then think we're not going to have a conversation?
Have the discussion.
Like you think he's going to come in here and say, here's my pain, here's my suffering. I'm going to say, I hear you. And then he's going to say, and it was Jewish people. And I'm going to be like, okay, but don't you consider it? So I'm not going to do this. I refuse.
Kanye West storms off the set and doesn't come back. That happened after 20 minutes, and then they had to continue the rest of the hour and a half without a guest. It was quite uneventful to say the least. Now, I know a lot of people believe that Kanye West doesn't deserve a platform. They want to shut him down and everything that he has to say. And while me personally, whether or not I agree with what he has to say, at the end of the day, I don't really think that it matters at all. I think that he deserves a right to have a platform, especially if he's going to run for president. It may not be a successful campaign, but nonetheless, he has a right to participate in democracy in whatever way he sees fit. Who am I to attempt to censor anyone? That's generally my stance. I just believe in his basic right to free speech. And so to be completely honest, I wanted to hear what he had to say. I wanted to hear him try to rationalize his talking points and some of the points that he's been making. And I was hoping that that's what we were going to see. But in the end, the Tim Pool podcast probably isn't the right place for that. I've been watching Tim Pool's podcast for quite a long time, and Tim generally likes to be quite argumentative. It's almost as if many of the times he brings people on and he views them as opponents that he's trying to debate, and he wants to dunk on them or he wants to shut down their talking points. In some cases, I mean, it works. In some cases, it makes sense. But I think in this case, for the most part, people who were watching just wanted to hear what Kanye West had to say. People wanted to, like I said earlier, hear him rationalize some of his points, and generally it just be an exercise of listening to somebody that maybe you disagree with, maybe you agree with, maybe you think that this person is flying off the handle. I think to a certain extent that definitely is happening in this case, and I think that Kanye West is being taken advantage of by some of the characters that are surrounding him. But you can't exactly do that if Tim Pool is going to come in with a sanctimonious attitude, trying to shut him down every time he goes in a specific direction. Now, I don't necessarily blame Tim Pool because I mean, that's just the way that it is on YouTube. I think Tim tried to set this thing up where they were going to talk about something entirely different, the whole Trump Mar-a-Lago situation, during the YouTube segment, and then they were going to take it in the members-only uncensored show in the late-night portion after, where they were going to tackle some of these more controversial issues. Obviously, there's a certain element of paranoia that Tim Pool is probably feeling being on YouTube. The incident that happened with Alex Jones, for instance, he's not trying to lose his YouTube channel. He's not trying to get suspended for a week, get a strike, and so he was being cautious, I guess, to a certain extent, or he was trying to shut down certain elements of the conversation in order to protect himself and protect his business. It's totally understandable. But at the end of the day, I mean, what did you think was going to happen? Did you think that you were going to bring on Kanye West? We all know his attitude. We know his personality. Clearly being confrontational or clearly trying to shut down what he's saying during the conversation isn't going to end well and is probably going to end with him storming off the set, and that's exactly what happened. All this to say, I probably would have preferred to see Tim Pool take a little bit of a step back on this one and to just let his guest speak. Just give the guy a platform, let him say what he has to say, and let the people make their opinions. I believe that's how the open market of discussion and ideas should be conducted. Let people speak and let people make their own opinions based on what they're hearing. So in that sense, I'd say it was a pretty big disappointment. The next thing that I want to talk about is Kanye West and the whole situation that's going on there. I think what we're seeing play out in real time here is a phenomenon or a concept that I have been talking about for a very long time. We are seeing the end game result of cancel culture. In my opinion, that is exactly what's going on here. This is what happens when you try to censor and cancel. Actually, to bring in a little bit of bipartisan support here, Jon Stewart made the same point on Stephen Colbert's show the other night.
He normalized anti-Semitism with the monologue. And I'm like, I don't know if you've been on comment sections on most news articles, but it's pretty normal. Like, anti-Semitism, as you know, it's incredibly normal. But the one thing I will say is, I don't believe that censorship and penalties are the way to end anti-Semitism or to not gain understanding. I don't believe in that. And I think it's the wrong way for us to approach it. Penalizing somebody for having a thought, I don't think is the way to change their minds or gain understanding. This is a grown man. And the idea that you would say to him, we're going to put you in a timeout. You have to sit in the corner and stare at the wall until you no longer believe. Like, we have to get past this in the country, the ability to...
I don't think the right way to tackle controversial issues is by trying to shut down or destroy individuals who are saying certain things or hold certain opinions, because what you're seeing right over here is the end result. It's no coincidence that Kanye West is now friends with Milo Yiannopoulos and Nick Fuentes. What do they all have in common? They've all been shunned from society and canceled. And so is it any surprise that they all meet up together and collectively dive into these ideas and possibly take it further and further? Is it any surprise that censorship, that trying to censor an idea or censor a specific opinion does nothing but make those individuals who have those beliefs, ideas, or opinions delve further into those ideas, beliefs, or opinions? Let's say you have a bunch of people who believe in some sort of conspiracy or conspiracy theory, whatever it is. Whether it is or not, it's not what we're talking about, just speaking purely hypothetically here. And then the reaction is to shut those people down, to shun them from society. Do you think that they're just going to turn around and go, oh, well, I guess I was wrong? No, they're going to delve further into the black market or underground of ideas. They're going to double down. They're going to say, whoa, it's even bigger than we thought. There's now a conspiracy to shut us down. Clearly, they don't want us talking about this. And so the ideas are going to expand. And in some cases, it gets more extreme and more radical. I think that's exactly what we're seeing here. I think in general, people need to stop being so damn emotional about everything. I get that some of these issues are controversial, but we should be able to discuss controversial ideas as a collective human race without losing our minds and being sent into fit of rages, without having to resort to violence or censoring somebody. We should be able to listen to what people are saying, and if it's crazy, if it's completely unhinged and wacko, I think for the most part, people are just going to disregard it, or people will be able to tackle these issues with different ideas and counter talking points, and we can kind of get to the bottom of things. At the end of the day, what Kanye West is talking about, of course the focus is purely on race, but at the end of the day, there's a point that Kanye West is trying to make here, which I think is valid. If we take the whole identity thing out of it, I think what caused Kanye West to go into this spiral is, again, the censorship. When he started doing things, when he started saying things that were counter to the Hollywood liberal orthodoxy, they tried to put him on medicines. They tried to shut him down. They tried to take business away from him, take opportunities away from him, strong-arm him into reforming his thoughts and opinions based on their beliefs. And clearly someone like Kanye has a major issue with this, and he's made some sort of connection based on his environment in the music industry and in the clothing industry, and of course the media industry, and he's taken it the direction that he has. But at the end of the day, whether he's right or wrong with the rhetoric that he's pursuing, he makes a valid point that he believes that black voices are being stifled, that independent thinkers are being censored and being forced and strong-armed through financial blackmail to act a certain way in Hollywood, in the media, and in the fashion industry. And that, I think, is a real issue that nobody's nobody's talking about because everyone's getting highly emotional and focusing on the surface level racial issue. So this is kind of where I'm standing here. It's like people get way too emotional whenever identity is brought into the mix, controversial issues like that, and then people completely miss or look past some actual possibly important issues that we should be talking about and identifying. And I think that's totally wrong. You know, there's a whole lot of sanctimony surrounding these sensitive issues. People want to shut it down. This person should be shunned totally. Liz Cheney and Mike Pence and all kinds of other people are tweeting condemning Donald Trump's meeting with these individuals. But again, can we stop with the denouncing people, the holier than thou attitude? Just let people speak and let's have discussions about issues without getting offended. It may even be offensive, but just because something's offensive doesn't mean that you should get offended. Sounds counterintuitive, but it's really the only healthy way to tackle some of these issues. The current strategy of trying to exile these individuals from society, trying to destroy them and take their livelihoods away from them, isn't a working strategy. And what's going on right now with Kanye West and actually the expansion of some of the beliefs that he's pushing, the censorship is not working to shut down those ideas. It's actually making them worse, and it's pushing people further into radical beliefs and extremism. And this is what I have maintained about cancel culture since the start. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing here, clearly on full display in real time. I don't know. I'm not even sure if this was the direction that I wanted to take this video, but this is kind of just where the monologue went. I had some other things that I wanted to talk about, but we're already passing our normal video length. So I'll basically just wrap it up and leave it at that. Those are my opinions. I think we've kind of lost the ability to have healthy discussions these days. Everything has become so antagonistic and emotional and volatile. Everyone's just so scared to be lumped up in the same group. I think conservatives are panicking right now because they just don't want to be associated with Kanye West and other people. But I mean, really anybody who's looking at this doesn't view Kanye West as a conservative or a member of the GOP. He operates in his own category entirely. And just let the man speak and let people come to their own damn opinions. It's really that simple. At the end of the day, people are smart enough and honest enough to look at things, to absorb different ideas, critically think, and come to their own conclusions. The emotional, reactionary craziness, I believe, serves no one. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.